Hey, Supercross Live on supercrossonline.com. Lauren Abraham with my partner in crime, Jim Holley. An awesome night of racing tonight. Back-to-back wins for Eli Tomac here in Oakland tonight.
Yeah, can you believe it? You know, Eli finally figures out how to get those starts and putting himself in a good position. But Eli Tomac, I mean, he actually had at one point a 12-second lead. But there was some great racing, and Marvin Musquin had to move some guys out of his way. He got into it with Jason Anderson, and then Osborne, he rode a little bit tight, you know, for that third. He said, you know, I talked to him after the races, and he goes, you know, I just kind of tightened up. But that's his last ride here. I mean, he's done. He's heading back to South Carolina, and then from there he's heading over to England to get ready for the MX2 World Championship fight that he's got over there. But Osborne wants to come back to the United States next year. He wants a full ride over here in Supercross, and I think he opened up a lot of eyes. But another guy opening up some eyes, Marvin Musquin, back on that podium with a second. Remember, he got a second in Phoenix, but he looked good. And Marvin's going to win one of these things, one of these times. He knows he's got the speed, but Marvin Musquin, he was outside that top 10 off the start, and you hear guys talk about it all the time. They need the start, and I think Marvin knows this week before next week going into Anaheim, Marvin Musquin is going to work on his starts.
And Eli Tomac did so well in his racing tonight, and I think he might just get another podium next week. But let's talk about the Supercross class. An amazing night for Chad Reed. He just happened to take second place, but who wowed the crowd from third place last week to first place tonight in Oakland, James Stewart happened to pull it off tonight.
Yeah, what can you say? I mean, the crowd here in Oakland had just a great race to watch. I mean, you talk about the fight. These guys were fighting. I'm talking about Chad Reed. He gets that hole shot. He collects $1,500 from Nuclear Cowboy. Right behind him is his old nemesis, James Stewart, and then lurking in the background, Villapoto. You know, he had to pass a couple guys, but at one point, these three guys were on top of each other. And you know, the crowd's just thinking, well, is Stewart going to take out, you know, Reed? What's going to happen? But, you know, Stewart made a great pass on Chad Reed just as they come over the double jump into that left-hander back on the start line. He was able to get underneath him there, but you know, Chad City, he rode tight a little bit after that, you know, and Stewart kind of gapped him a little bit because he was worrying about Villapoto, but then he settled down and at one point started pulling away from Villapoto, and Villapoto said, you know what, he was just mad at himself for getting a third. You know, he just says, you know, I just didn't ride that good. I had those guys in sight, but I just couldn't push it. He was trying. I mean, he was inside, outside, but all the time his lines were on the outside, so those guys could just push him up, and he'd have to shut the throttle off, and it just didn't work tonight. But you know, we got a fourth different winner in that Supercross class, and he's on a Yamaha, and that's James Stewart. Took a lot of pressure off him. James has been under a lot of pressure this season. You know, he hasn't been on the podium except for last week in Dodger Stadium, and now back-to-back wins for James Stewart here in Oakland.
Well, you know what? He got third last week. He got first tonight. He's got some awesome momentum going on right now, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts. So why don't you guys log on to facebook.com/supercrosslive or twitter.com/supercrosslive and let us know what you think. You think James is going to keep this up? I'm Lauren Abraham with my partner in crime, Jim Holley, and we'll see you guys next week in Anaheim.